However, I had another experience, and this is probably 10, 11, 12, 13, probably 14 years after the story I just told you, right? So I was technically I was a Security 3 officer, in quotations, at Fort Chaffee Regional Training Site. Okay, so I was employed by the state and the Department of Defense as basically a glorified gate guard. And I worked there for a while, and I took a lot of classes, and I showed that I was worth something, so they moved me up. I was a graveyard shift dude there. There's some eerie feelings where you feel like you're being watched out there, but you're more worried about, like, weirdos watching you.
You're looking for Charlie.
Yeah, right, yeah. And I'm like, he ain't here. It's just me. And they're like, all right, we'll go. Anyway, so I got put on fire. I was a wildland firefighter. I trained with some of the best hot shots in the country, the U.S. Forestry Service. And, yeah, so, I mean, that was something I loved doing, too. Like, I loved it. So I was a firefighter, and I remember I went home. They moved my shift a lot during that transition period. So for some reason, I was on second shift, which was 4 p.m. To midnight. Okay, and for some reason, I guess, or maybe I was on day shift. It doesn't matter. I was at home. I got cleaned up. I went to bed, and I got a phone call saying to come back. And I don't know if you guys remember this. It happened in 2011, 2012, somewhere like that. The hospital area at Fort Chaffee, the old hospital area at Fort Chaffee, burned down. Mm-hmm. Well, that was the fire I got called on. And there's always been the stories that the hospital area is haunted, right? Let me tell you something. Whenever I'd be on patrol or something, I'd go out and check, make sure, you don't have vagrants out there doing things. Other than that, it's whatever. I mean, dude, I can't tell you how many times I park there to get out and, relieve myself, or just to, at the time I was a smoker, so I'd get out there and I'd sit and smoke a cigarette, and then I'd get back in the car and go about my business. It was never anything, it didn't bother me, is the picture I'm trying to paint here. So, one night, a friend of mine, Adam Norrit, and myself are cruising, and he was like, let's go out to the hospital area. It's kind of out of the way, so, it's kind of a place where we could kind of, chill for a minute. Didn't necessarily have to be, super professional. We could sit there, cut up for a few minutes, and get back on, back to work. So we went out there, and I was like, well, man, we're here. I got to pee. So I get out of the car. I go. I use the bathroom. I come back. And I swear to you, man, I got about maybe 10, 15 yards from the car. And, it's hard to explain, but because it was loud, but it wasn't your typical loud sound. It wasn't unbearable in your ear, but it sounded like it was right in your ear, if that makes any sense. But there was a woman scream, blood-curdling scream, and you're like, so immediately, I'm on duty as a cop that night. So, I mean,
you're looking to help someone.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what was that? What was that? And I turned around and I looked, and there's nothing at all. Everything's still, everything's quiet. You know how the air feels, whenever someone's being really loud, you can hear it, there's echoes, blah, 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 right? It wasn't like that. It was like nothing had ever happened. I turned around and there was no sound, there was no echoing, there was no anything that comes with that kind of scream. There was no sounds of someone writhing in pain.
There was no reverb of any.
Yeah, there was just nothing. And I turned around and looked at Adam, and I was like, I held my hands up, and he's like, what? So I was like, oh, well, that was terrifying. Let's roll. Let's get out of here. So now we'll go back to where I was starting. I got the phone call for the fire, and it was the hospital area burning down. So I got out there probably midnight, and maybe a little later. But anyway, I get out there. We fight the fire all night long. And we were all upset because we're like, these are scheduled for demolition anyway. Let's just light them up and let them go. And,
You're welcome.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, our fire chief at the time, or our chief at the time, he didn't live up to the title. Anyway, he was like, no, because he just wanted to kind of be in control of everything. Well, I finally got hooked up with another friend, a couple other friends of mine, Nate Griffin and Clint Montgomery. And another guy named Dusty Redding. And they were like, hey, we're going back here and we're lighting it off. I was like, count me in. Let's go. I don't care. What are they going to do? Fire me? Let's do it. So we went to the backside, and right before we lit off, we actually got the go-ahead. The chief was like, hey, go ahead and light it off. Let's just be done with this. We're like, sweet. So without thinking, I grabbed my drip torch, light it, and here I go, just being a good soldier, walking along. And you have to walk through these long corridor buildings, and I'm dragging fire behind me. So I'm lighting the building on fire as I'm walking through. Well, then I got to the very end. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 yards from the door. There's the scream. Once again, my first instinct is, oh my God, there's someone in here. So me being, I would say probably not my smartest decision, but maybe a heroic one. I turn around, the building's on fire. So I toss the drip torch out the window onto the gravel, and I start running through the building looking for whoever it is. And this time I can hear it. Like I can hear someone crying. And I was like, I have to find him. If I don't, then I'm the one who did this. You know, I know that even sounds selfish, but seriously, I was like, I got to find him. And I'm telling you, man, this building is starting to, really starting to catch fire. And I was like, okay, I've gone through every room. There's no one here. I went out. I start heading towards the door again. I get maybe a step further. Scream right in my ear. And at that point, I was like, nope. I am not coming back in here. That's something luring me in to burn up. I'm done. I am out. And I left. And like I just cut bait and got out of there. But I was really concerned, so I stuck around, obviously, and there wasn't anybody in any building.
Anybody else to cooperate the sounds?
Nope. That's the part that sucks. Everything that I've said is like I'm the only one who experienced it. You know what I'm saying?
The other guys didn't believe you or anything?
Yeah, but I've always been of the mindset, a lot of these people that you see on these television shows, it's like, okay, they wanted to be on TV to tell a story.
Right.
I know you personally, and I know how you're a lot like me and logic-minded and skeptic first.
Yeah.
So I understand how it is a big deal for you to actually say this.
Oh, yeah, man. It was crazy. And like I said, I mean, seriously, talking about being a skeptic, I heard this scream again, the same one I heard before, and my first instinct was like, I got to go back in because there's somebody in there.
Yeah.
And like I said, though, the fact that I could continuously hear crying and stuff like that, it was very unsettling. But like I said, at that point, adrenaline's pumping. I'm like, I have to find whoever this is, and I have to get them out. And there was no one there. And that was really creepy. And I'm telling you this, and I'm telling you, no one else heard it. But as that building went up, I could hear the screams.
Same building as
Same
before.
building, yeah. We had stepped back. We'd gotten far enough away to let it burn. We had it contained, and that's how we were controlling the fire. We're going to light off the backside, let the fire converge on itself, and burn out.
Did anybody else have any similar stories in their buildings that they were?
No, but I have looked it up, and the screaming is not uncommon to be heard out there. So I am not the only one who has heard this. I'm just the only one. Each time that I heard it, I was the only one who heard it. Like I said, but I went to looking it up because you can find anything on Facebook, you know what I mean? So you go into like haunted, you could look up like haunted Fort Chaffee, and you'll probably find a Facebook group of people talking about it. But I mean, it was just like I said, once the building actually went up fully involved, and like the roof started to drop in, not like a big dramatic thing, but chunks of it started to drop in. I could just hear it, and I was like, okay, I gotta. I don't know, go to church or something. This is crazy, man. Like it was terrifying. And I didn't tell a lot of people that story. I did ask, as I was standing back and I heard the screams as the building was going up, I did kind of like, hey man, you hear that? He's like, what? I said, nothing. I thought I heard something. Oh man, it was right in my ear. I could hear it the whole time. I was sitting there saying,
yeah.
But as soon as he was,
you're playing it off like, no, I guess I didn't hear anything because he didn't react. But in your mind, you're like, no, I know what I heard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know what I heard, and that was the closest I've ever been to like being paralyzed with fear. And luckily, I wasn't, because that could have been the end of me. I could have been a hoot kebab, but.
Ghost?
Yeah, zoinks! But
you run in place, your feet spinning.
But luckily it wasn't old man Jenkins, But yeah, man, I mean,
at the same time, if it was, that might have helped with an
oh god, yeah, well,
explanation.
that would have helped me sleep for the next year.
Old man Jenkins making weird noises might have kind of helped you a little peace of mind.
But I will say this: that was, like I said, I think that was 2011, and I have no experiences since, and I like it that way. I'd like to keep it that way.